Okay, we're on.
All right, and welcome to Mythical Monster Investigations, our look into Angelology, edition 9, if I remember correctly. And first off, I want to give a shout out to Shadow R Fox for the awesome background we have. Really, well done.
You don't
So
know how
appreciate it.
hard it is. I'm trying not to make a racist robot joke right now about.
Seriously?
If you can't tell, I did use some AI to get some of this, to get this design, and man, I don't know if I should drop the C word.
I,
I'm dropping it. Yeah, I got the clinkers to do it for me,
I would.
and that's clinker with hard R. I'm dropping that.
I want to point out I went off script just to compliment you on this. Why did I do that? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going back on script now, and I'm never doing that again.
The one time we go off script and I make a racist robot joke. We gotta make that a short easily.
Great way to start this out.
This is why
Okay,
I
so
keep my mouth shut.
back on track. I'm your host, Archimage, along with my co-hosts.
Shadow Fox.
Okay.
Sorry, my brain.
I wasn't sure if you were like ignoring us for that comment.
No,
or just...
I was not ignoring you. I think the comment fried my brain for half a second. I didn't even register what was being said.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I completely was thrown off of where we were.
Okay. So yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so to get back on, in this video, we're going to be looking at the final two banned books of the Bible regarding angels. Now, to be clear, this is the final two banned books we're going to be looking at for the Judeo-Christian faith. There is one more banned book, which is called the Apocryphal Gospel of Thomas, I think, or something like that. I'm not including it into this because basically it's just a combination of these two, and at some point it just becomes redundant, so we're not going to bother with it. But I will mention it a little later on in one particular part of this. But other than that, you read these two books, you're going to get the gist of it, and you don't need it. Clear on that?
Well, we may have to mention it 2 times for all the images I got generated for some of these designs, because apparently it pulled all those references from the Apocryphal of John, apparently.
Yeah, no, that should have only been for the one. The others were mentioned in the other books.
Oh,
as well.
okay. I didn't know the other designs were mentioned. I know that it pulled that one design from that book of John.
No, the other two are there, so that should be the only one that's really pulled from that. So we'll mention it at that point. Okay, so now there are a few other books that we did not mention in this, which is basically because they don't really offer any new, or in this case, outrageous insights into angels. And we're going to see why these two books needed their own video, as they highlight the beliefs of the Gnostic faith. Go ahead and switch slides. Sarah Fox? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Which is basically ancient New Age spiritualism, emphasizing the secret knowledge that's going to help you ascend to a higher plane and blah, blah, blah. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of, let's call it faith in this particular thing, but never mind. I said we're going to go over angels, and these do mention angels, so we're going over them. Now, these two books actually share a lot of beliefs, so I was debating on which to start with, but ultimately I decided to go ahead and switch, the Gospel of Judas. Now, just for the heightened nonsense of it. Now, the best way to describe the Gospel of Judas is as the wicked of Christianity. Now, for those like 5 people who don't know, because this movie's just been plastered everywhere, Wicked is basically a retelling of the Wizard of Oz, where the Wicked Witch is actually the good guy.
Okay.
Clear enough?
Okay, for a second there, I was wondering if I need to pick up the Gospel of Judas, because apparently, like, the Old Testament left out the Oz, the witch, the good witch. I'm like, I it's been a while since I've been to Bible school, but I will remember a wicked witch, and I didn't get that. So maybe I slept through the Book of Oz and stuff like that.
No, well, okay, there was a witch, but not the wicked witch.
There was a witch. Yes, I do recall there was a witch in the Bible. I think actually two. I know at least of one, but I think there was two.
Well, there's one big one. The Witch of Endor was not.
Yeah, that's
was
the one
not
I'm
related in
thinking of.
any way to Star Wars.
Yeah, no,
we had a whole debate about that. But no, there's no Oz or anything like that. The premise is because Wicked is about the bad guy secretly being the hero, which is, Wizard of Oz fan fiction. That's what the Gospel of Judas is.
I'm just imagining the Gospel of Judas open the. Just look. He may have been the savior, but hear me out.
Actually, you're not far off.
I needed to betray him because it was going to save the planet.
Actually, you're not far off.
What's this mean?
Okay, so yeah, basically Judas is the hero, and you're gonna see why it's kind of related to Wicked in that sense. So, in the Gospel, as is probably obvious, it basically recreates Judas as the hero. Now, how on earth does it do this? Well, it does this by changing the entire lore of Christianity. For example, in the Gospel of Judas, Jesus is kind of a jerk. And while he's not evil, and he is still mostly the Messiah, emphasis on mostly, go ahead and switch, Jesus actually spends a lot of time mocking the disciples for their ignorance and for their lack of understanding of what he considers very basic things or the higher knowledge. And considering that Jesus, in this respect, is their teacher, wouldn't that actually be a reflection on his poor teaching skills? I mean, just saying, right?
Depends, because the way I'm looking at it is, let's say if I was asked to teach a bunch of elementary kids, I wouldn't expect them to know that much. I would expect the learning to be, kind of at ground level. But if I'm teaching a class of high schooler and they don't know how to read a book, well, I mean, in this day and age, that may be pretty accurate. But in the previous day and age,
do we really want to go into that?
In previous ages, if I was teaching class and they didn't even know how to read or add 2 plus 2 and they were high school students, I would kind of say, what do you guys even know?
I mean, yeah, that's fair. But this is specifically like they're doing things that they have been taught, and he's basically making fun of them. In fact, several times he laughs at them. So, well, anyway, he tells the disciples not only do they not understand, except, of course, for Judas, but that none of them will or even can be saved. You guys got that so far?
Okay, so see, if you had not said everyone but Judas was the only one who didn't get it, like, it's the fact you said Judas is the only one who got it. I'm like, okay, he had real opportunity to say Jesus was a jerk to everyone, and nobody understood his teaching, even his apostles. But the fact that he goes out his way to say, but I understood it because I'm the smart one, that clearly, make this sound like fan fiction.
Yeah, because it is fan fiction. But okay, so anyway, in fact, Jesus tells the disciples that they will lead their followers and everyone else into damnation in his name. That they will lead people to praise and worship the false god of the world that they and everyone else will already worship. Now, this is the big thing. The disciples actually have a dream that they're going to be doing this and that they're going to lead, several generations into damnation to celebrating evil. And they actually beg Jesus to save them from this and ask what they can what they need to do to prevent this horrible feat and this horrible fate and reach salvation. Jesus not only laughs at them, but tells them that there's nothing that they can do, and that only those born of the generation of Seth, which we will discuss later on, can be saved. For it is them that possess the divine spark, and only they can ascend to heaven. No good works or faith in Christ can save you. You either are one of them, one of these chosen generation, or you're not. So obviously there are so many issues with this. There's no salvation, so why the heck would you follow this in the first place? But that's it so far.
And let me guess, Judas is part of the Seth clan.
No, he's not, actually.
Oh, well, okay then. Okay, maybe this isn't fan fiction.
No, Jesus basically said there's no way to save him. Like, anything you do, it doesn't matter at all. Thoughts?
Don't that completely defeat the purpose of Jesus even being on Earth in the first place?
Yes. Yes, 100%. Because why is he on? And it's going to become even more pointless as we go forward into this.
Because his whole reason on being on Earth is to be the sacrificial lamb for humanity's sin, to allow them a chance at redemption.
Yep. Nope. In fact, if the Gospel of Judas Jesus was here, he'd be laughing at you for saying something so stupid, and he'd call you stupid too.
Well, you know what? That's fair, because I'm not a deity, so fair enough. I don't have immortality or anything like that, but
still, dude,
I would just say we all made in your image, so I'm like, that's fair.
Oh no, that's not true either.
Oh, wait, what?
Okay, so we'll get into that. Like I said, this is gonna get weird. Zed, are you following along so far?
Sure.
Right. Okay. So continuing now, how exactly does Judas become the hero? Go ahead and switch slides.
I'm starting to think that that the Pokemon we chose are very accurate now to it, because they're not made.
Yeah, me too.
Humanities are not made in their image. They're clearly jerks. They don't care about us. I think we nailed it with the Pokemon this time.
Honestly, you might have. You very well might have. Okay, so first off, Judas understands Jesus's message and the truth of the pure generation, which we will go into more detail in a moment. Now, Judas is not one of the saved. So despite understanding the truth, it does not matter. He is not one of the chosen, and he is doomed to die no matter what. So even though he knows, even though he's better than the others, apparently, it doesn't matter. He's still damned. Thoughts?
Sucks for him.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's essentially what Jesus says in this. So yeah, pretty much. Right. So in this gospel, Jesus asked Judas to betray him. Now, why? Because the killing of Jesus will release the true divine spark of Jesus from his mortal coil. So Judas helps Jesus where the others fail him, and that is where the gospel ends. Clear?
So he's in this retelling of the gospel. Jesus is Optimus.
It's sort of.
He has the Allspark.
Yeah.
You got the touch.
I knew someone was going to make that joke, and it's actually more accurate.
He literally got the touch.
Yeah, kind of. So this is part of the Gnostic belief that you have to escape from physical matter. And by betraying him and getting Jesus essentially crucified, that's going to allow Jesus to escape his mortal flesh and ascend to the true divine being that he actually is. So in this way, Judas actually helps Jesus by sending him over to be murdered and escape the flesh that's holding him back.
Okay, so now this raises a bunch of questions, such as, why was he here in the first place to only be trapped here? The other thing is, I'm assuming he couldn't kill himself because suicide is a sin, and that
No,
would
that's
somehow.
never. Nope, that's never stated.
Oh, so he could probably just offed himself and jumped off a cliff or something, and that would have been the equivalent.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, we don't actually know why Jesus was here in a mortal form in the first place, since as we're going to find out, it actually doesn't matter at all.
I think this gospel of Jesus is just trolling everyone.
Judas.
Oh, sorry, Gospel of Judas. Yes.
I know they both start with a J. Well, no, let's not get into that.
I
Okay,
almost want to call this the Gospels of jerks because I mean Judas is a jerk, Jesus is a jerk, everyone's a jerk apparently.
I would say that, but now we're well, again, you'll see. Okay, so basically, bottom line, the crucifix. This is where the book ends, and the crucifixion's not even mentioned. So yeah, definitely a bit of a deviation from Judas's story, and that alone makes it very clear why this book was not included in the canonical Bible. But now, what does the Gospel of Judas say about angels? You know, what this entire podcast is about. Well, here's where things get interesting, as this is the secret knowledge that Jesus told to Judas and to Judas alone. Go ahead and switch slides. Okay. Here we go. So, Jesus says that there exists a great and boundless realm which no angelic generation has seen, which dwells the great supreme spirit which no angel has seen or can behold. Now, I want to be clear, while it may seem otherwise, this great, boundless, infinite spirit is not God. Clear about that? Okay, go ahead and switch slides. So, from this great spirit, a luminous cloud appears. And from this cloud comes the first angel, known as the self-begotten, or the God of light, to serve him, that being the spirit. Or maybe the cloud. It's not really clear if the self-begotten angel is to serve the cloud or to serve the spirit. So, yeah. Basically, a sparkly, magically cloud appears, and then an angel comes out of it, who's called the self-begotten. Clear so far?
Okay. Is
Okay.
this thing higher or same level of as God, or they don't explain?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Okay, so then another cloud appeared and created 4 more angels to serve the self-begotten. And they formed a realm of light they formed a realm of light. Now, again, to be clear, the self-begotten is not God either. Still good?
Okay.
So go ahead and switch slides. So the self-begotten and his angels created a luminary to rule over the realm. This luminary let more angels come into being to serve it, then allowed a luminous realm to come into being. The luminary created a second luminary with angels to rule over this realm. This process repeats, creating several realms of light with several luminaries and angels to rule them. And none of these luminaries are God. Comments so far?
Okay, so one question. Are
Only
these
one?
angels well, yeah, are these angels or that are being created like are these different from the angels that God made, or is this explaining the angels before, like God never made them? Apparently, this Luminaires thing made them.
Yeah, pretty much. So these luminaries are coming out of this cloud thing, and then the luminaries are creating angels. And the luminaries are kind of like what they talked about powers. They seem to be some form of angel, but it's not clear what exactly they are. But I had to look this up, that luminaries are a type of authoritative name, but it's not made clear what that authority is.
Okay, my other question is, have ancient alien touched any of this before?
Of course.
Maybe.
There's a reason I'm
Probably.
asking this. A very
No,
specific...
believe it or not, that's a question I had too while researching this. So Well, go ahead and ask why.
Well, the reason I think that is because when they're describing the whole cloud and the Begottens and stuff like that, that was making me think there's probably an ancient alien who would confer the whole birth of these angels to the Big Bang, and how everything essentially before the Big Bang was probably just a bunch of material that was essentially gathered around as essentially space dust, and then the
Uh,
spark made, or the light made everything at that point.
Kind of, but do remember this is Gnostic, and in Gnostic faith, material matter is bad.
No, I know,
All is
but
good
remember
and mighty.
these are ancient. That's why I asked ancient alien, not Nox, not not agnostic,
Yeah, no,
Gnostic people.
ancient aliens. So yeah, no. I get what you're saying, and I don't have a good answer. I haven't watched enough of Ancient Aliens because they tick me off. So maybe I mean it's just as good of an explanation as any because we're not done yet. So go ahead and switch slides. So then from the first cloud of light that we talked about earlier came Adamus. Adamus then begot Seth in the image of an angel. From Seth comes the incorruptible generation. This incorruptible generation of Seth is present before 12 androgynous luminaries. And again, I will state none of these that I just mentioned are God. Any questions so far?
No.
Zed, you good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so to continue, yeah, we're still going. 72 luminaries appear in the incorruptible generation. These 72 brought forth 360 luminaries into the incorruptible generation. Again, still no God. Go ahead and switch slides. Okay. Deep breath. To keep going, these organize themselves into 12 realms of the 12 luminaries with 6 heavens for each realm, totaling 72 heavens for 72 luminaries, and 5 firmaments for each, totaling 360 firmaments. And all of this makes up the Father. The Father is not God, and I hope you got all of that because I'm not repeating it. Any questions?
So a lot of bureaucracy, and we still haven't got to the guy in charge.
Yeah, but everything I just mentioned makes up what's called the Father. They never exactly explain what the Father is, and the Father will not be mentioned again.
Part of me wanted to show the picture of the father from Kids Next Door when you mentioned the father.
Well, no, because the Father's made up of all this stuff.
I know, but
Okay, so go ahead and switch slides. Okay, so to continue, the Father that was just mentioned was granted authority and a great army of angels along with virgin spirits. And I have no idea what a virgin spirit is. You guys want to hazard a guess? It doesn't make it clear what it is.
I'm finding the urge to make a very bad joke right now.
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah.
Tell the bad jokes. Go ahead. It can't be any worse than how this is going to go.
I'm gonna say this is probably the 72 version that they allude to. when they-
I mean, 72 appears quite a lot in this.
Maybe this is what they've been alluding to this whole time.
I mean, it's as good a theory as any. Zed, you got one?
I,
No?
Oh, it's even worse than mine. Like,
That's not even that. I've got nothing.
Okay, so to continue, the Father then denoted some of these immortals as the cosmos or perishables, and this is where the first human appeared with his incorruptible powers. Now, to be clear, this is not Adam. This is not Adam, the first man. Good so far?
yeah, I mean, none of the main characters from the Bible actually shown up yet. So okay, let's go.
Okay, so go ahead and switch slides. So, a realm appeared with that generation, as well as the cloud of knowledge, which brought forth the angel Elilith. Elelith. I don't know. How would you pronounce that?
Either of the ways you just did.
Okay.
Elilith? Yeah, Elilith?
Yeah, let's go with that. Now, in this act of creation came forth chaos and Hades, which were not created by the divine. Understand?
So now we're going into Greek myths.
Kind of, but I want to point out the point is chaos and Hades just appeared. It was not part of this divine bureaucracy creation that we've been going through this whole time so far. That clear?
Okay, so apparently the Greek... what I'm now finding out is, according to the book of Judas, the Greek pantheon is real, and it's been around the same time as the Christian pantheon has.
That's as good of an explanation as any. So anyway, to keep going. So Elilith said, "Let 12 angels come into being to rule over chaos and Hades." And it was so. And they came to rule over the new land of chaos and Hades. And to be clear, no, Elilith is not God either. Go ahead and go to the next slide, number 13. Yeah. All right. We're in the home stretch. From the cloud appeared another angel whose face flashed with fire and whose likeness was defiled by blood. And he was named Nebro or Yalabaratha. Whatever. It means rebel. And from this cloud also emerged Saklis, meaning fool. And this is officially the Judeo-Christian God. Thoughts?
Wait, so the Nebro is essentially God.
Yes.
So
No, not Nebro. Saklis.
Sockless.
is God.
Sockless, okay. Because we generate an image of Nebro. We asked Gemini to do it for us. And it gave us the most metal image of an angel so far.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those are very badass. And that's Nebro, not Saklis, because Saklis is not given a description.
For those on Spotify, the book, The Anthropopathy of John, described Nebro in more detail visually and described it as a body of a snake, a head of a lion, eyes like lightning, and a face and body defiled in blood. So it literally gave us Gemini gave us some pretty good images of a lion-headed snake covered in blood coming from the cloud with lightnings coming from its eye.
And fire in its mane.
And fire in its mane and mouth.
Yeah, no, the image is pretty cool. Like, not gonna lie. Okay, so with that, we can stay on this slide. You can keep that. Anyway, so Nebro and Saklis both created 6 angels, and these 12 each received a portion of the heavens. 5 angels were set to rule chaos and Hades. These angels... these angels are there and they're never mentioned again. So, any comments on that?
Not really.
Okay. So, Saklis then turns to Nebro and says, "Let's create humans in our own image." And he creates Adam and Eve. And he commands them to have kids and only live for so long, unlike the other immortals.
Okay, wait. So we were made in Sockless' image, who is God.
Is the Judeo-Christian God, yes.
Is Jesus still the son of God in Gnostic faith, or is he something different?
Okay, so we'll get
We
to
haven't
that.
got there? Okay. In that case, I want to bring up point 2, that I'm a little bit disappointed.
Okay, go.
Why wasn't we made in Nebro's image?
Because Saklis is the one that suggested it. What do you want from me? And I'm more surprised that you haven't, that neither one of you have mentioned that the Christian Judeo God, the one who created us, his Sockless name literally means fool.
No, that makes sense.
How does that make sense?
Have you? Do you see humanity lately?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You're right. Stupid question. Okay, so we're good on this so far?
Yeah.
Okay, because now things are going to get a bit weird. Yeah, I know. So the text then claims that God commanded Michael to loan spirits to the humans so that they might serve him, while Gabriel was to give spirits to the great generation with no king. They possess the great Gabriel's charge, the great generation. They possess both spirits and souls. Gabriel gave so they possess both spirits and souls, where our generation just possesses spirits. Then God gave Adam knowledge so as to not be ruled by the angels of chaos, that being Sockless and Nebro. Now, the text is not clear about, it's not really clear about the God who gave mankind spirits, but it appears to be the Great Spirit, maybe, but it is not clear in any way that this is it. And Jesus in this is a member of the truly great generation who is not part of Sockless and Nebro's generation. So why he's here on Earth is never actually made clear. Got it? Okay, go ahead and switch slides. So, all right, to quickly sum it up, and the sad thing is that whole thing, I actually shortened that. Like, that was actually a sped through version of all that. But yeah, but did you want me to go through the whole thing step by step? I would think not, because that was long enough, right?
Yes.
Okay, so basically to sum this up, in the Gnostic faith, there are two-ish gods. One is the god of the unseen spirit world, the light and the truth, the great divine. And then there is the false god of the physical world, Sockless, who is an evil false god of the Christians. So, and people will become evil in serving Sockless. The generation of Seth is the only ones with the divine spark that allows them to basically ascend eventually to be with the Great Spirit again, or to keep on living. Everybody else is doomed. So doesn't matter what you do, unless you're one of the members of Seth, you're pretty much dead and doomed. So yeah, basically spirit over matter. And yeah, this is New Age stuff. Questions?
For a religion that want to focus more on the spirit, they sure as hell care a lot about matters such as bloodlines.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. But so yeah, the Gospel of Judas kind of is a middle finger almost to Christianity. Talking about almost hypocrisy, especially in the time it was written, about how the Christian leaders could be a little bit elitist, which is a fair criticism. I mean, hell, they're elitist at times now, let's be honest. But yeah, it's basically, the physical body doesn't matter. You should be gaining knowledge to the spirit only. In this case, which is separate from a lot of Gnostic Gospels, it says that knowledge doesn't matter anyway. Nothing matters. If you're not part of this magical, generation of Seth, then you're screwed no matter what. I mean, that's basically what it's claiming. That makes sense?
Yeah, sure. We're not the chosen people, so go away.
Yeah, pretty much. So now, as far as angels, they're not messengers at all. They're not messengers of the divine. They do not give message. They are lower level beings, and they are often flawed. They can be chaotic beings of the material world, and they are associated with a lot of ignorance in general. There is an ignorant creator god who makes them. Socklus is a foolish angel who created the material world, and it was foolish of him to do it, and that, of course, is supposed to be the Judeo-Christian God. Clear?
Okay.
Questions?
No, I think for the most part it makes sense. I guess.
Really? Because I had a headache the entire time doing this stuff.
I mean, if I don't think about it, yes.
Right. Okay. So, Zed, any questions?
Um,
Okay, so with that, we are done with the Gospel of Judas, or Spiritualism Zero, as I prefer to call it. Again, the sad thing is, I shortened that by a lot. So, with that, now we're going to look at the last book, which is actually a lot weirder. Go ahead and switch slides. Okay, so this is called the Holy Book of the Great Invisible Spirit, but it is better known as the Gospel of the Egyptians. Either of you have a clue why it's called the Gospel of Egyptians, even though it doesn't actually have anything to do with Egypt?
Made by Egyptians?
No, actually. Although, funny thing, this book was one of the few books that was actively attempted to be destroyed by a religious figure. The Bishop of Egypt did try to burn every single one of these books, and it's one of the few Gospels that they actually tried to completely eradicate.
That good?
Yeah, no, it really is, because this is going to get serious nonsense soon. But no, Zed, any clue why they call it the Gospel of the Egyptians?
I've got nothing.
Okay, so
Other than the obvious,
what's the obvious?
that it involves Egypt.
Actually, you're not far off. So it's actually a metaphor for those trapped and needing to be free, as Egypt is the land of the Hebrews where they were trapped until they escaped and managed to be free thanks to God. So that's why it's called that, only spiritually speaking, of course. Clear on that?
Okay.
Okay, so now this gospel makes it very clear why it was banned from the Bible after reading it. Oddly enough, though, I would say this gospel is a perfect example of what people, especially atheists, think that the Bible is. And that a lot of people think that the Bible is this spiritual self help book that tells you about ancient forbidden knowledge or something, when in reality, while it does have morals in it, it is a history of the Judeo Christian people. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that's kind of I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, thankfully for us, there's not a historical narrative, so we don't need to reaccount it. So we can hopefully just kind of breeze through this fairly quickly. So go ahead and switch slides. So now, according to this gospel, the universe does not begin in darkness, but in silence. And in this silence was the true divine spirit, or the great invisible spirit, a being of internal perfectness and beyond all form. And it wants to make it very clear that this being, this spirit, does not create by command or force. Other beings simply flow out of it and flow from the spirit because it is so massive and so great and has so much power that other things just appear. That clear?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and switch slides. So the first to appear is Barbello, which Barbello is the first thought. It's not separate, but an extension of the spirit. And it is said to be female. It is said to be called the womb, even though, according to this, she doesn't actually give birth and nothing is birthed from anything. Things just appear. So in reality, it's kind of a strange statement to make considering the, basis of the faith. But, if we stand here picking apart everything that's wrong with these things, we're going to be here all day. So any questions?
Well, again, we did get Gemini to give us an image. Interesting.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
too.
it kind of looks like a three-headed Emma Frost in diamond form.
It does
Yeah,
actually.
it does.
It also looked like the what was it? There's a grand judge or something from Marvel, which is a three-headed cosmic being.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. Eh. But yeah, so go ahead and switch slides. Okay, so despite the fact that she claims not to give birth, the text then said she gives birth to a divine being who is known as the self-begotten son of the spirit, even though it's not born. And this essentially is called the Christ figure, but it is not of flesh, but of spirit. That clear?
So doesn't give birth, but then gives birth.
Yeah, it's hence the term the self-begotten, the Christ-ish figure. Questions? I mean, I can't answer any questions, but questions? No? Good?
Yeah, good, I guess.
Okay. So with him come four luminaries, which act as living pillars in the spiritual world. Go ahead and switch slides. So they are, I'm going to butcher these names, Har Mosel, the first light, Oroel, the second light, Davith, the third light, and Elilith, the fourth light. Yeah. And each of these have their own servant angels. They are called aeons, and they are expressions of divine thought. They do not rule, but radiate harmony. They exist in a realm beyond time and change. These aeons have many angels and many powers. And for those of you who are asking, powers is not as in they have superpowers, but it powers is a term for those who hold powers. So they were people who held power over others or sway were called powers, not superpowers, which I guess would still kind of be clear since there are angels, but yeah, whatever. It's different apparently. And these form divine communities of light. And they praise the invisible spirit, but they do not praise them as servants. We clear?
Okay.
They instead reflect the divine light throughout the rest, acting almost as tuning fork beacons to spread it. Makes sense?
As much as anything else in this.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and switch.
Oh, and of course we got Gemini to do us one last picture of this.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Nope, it works. Okay. So, Barbello and the Self-Begotten are sacredly joined, and from them emerge the Holy Spirit. I do not know what that means, and I was afraid to ask. But the Holy Spirit in this that emerges from them is kind of ignored, so we're going to ignore it too. But Barbello, the self-begotten, and the divine spirit or the divine invisible spirit make up the Gnostic Trinity. And they are not separate gods, but three parts of a whole god, which is stolen from Christianity. So, to kind of organize this in the best possible way of my ability, the Gnostic believe in a trinity of the divine spirit, the divine mother, Barbello, and the self begotten acting as the spiritual Christ. The main angels act as pillars of the divine realm, made of light and spirit. They are also over 900 ethereal angels who protect the race of the great Seth, third son of Adam and Eve, as well as the Egyptian god of chaos and disorder who murdered Osiris. Now, these beings protect the race of Seth from the devil, who is Sakas. Sakas is mentioned as a power, but is outside the divine realm with others, as the realms of chaos and Hades just came to be once again. Does that make sense?
Okay. So when do Zeus come into the picture?
Ironically, he doesn't mostly.
Okay, because Kratos already killed him, right?
You know what? Yeah, sure. Okay, go ahead and switch. So, what does all of this tell us about angels? Honestly, not much. The Gnostics believe that knowledge will awaken the divine spark within us all, or within the few select, so as to ascend. And if you notice, they focus on creation, not commanded, but just kind of happening, because this is their claim that God is a tyrant. So to rebel against the tyrant was actually a good thing, and the rebel angels are the ones that are actually better off, because Gnostics really will often give more credit to the serpent for giving knowledge to mankind. And the angels that they talk about, the luminaries and powers they talk about, are very vague. They're very rarely described, except for the image we got from the Apocryphal of John, was it? Right?
The Apocryphy of John.
Yeah, but they are not servants. They're more of a hive mind of a perfect will, which to me makes all of this sound like a giant self-help book. What do you guys think?
Wasn't already.
I mean, that's what I'm getting out of these two
This
things.
seemed more
Well,
like fan
except for the
fiction.
gospel. Yeah, the gospel juice is wicked fan fiction, while this is a giant divine self-help book, which I find slightly nonsensical. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like,
I see this as someone trying to make their own Christianity pantheon that's more outlandish than the Greek, the Norse, and the Egyptian pantheon.
I'd say it's trying to make into a weird Christian Hindu hybrid with all their bloody gods. Yeah, no, and like I said, it gets weird. The angels, again, like what to take from them is that they're not really described that much, or except emerging from clouds, which, okay, I guess has been kind of a theme. Angels and clouds, angels in the skies. I guess it makes sense. Why they are being born from clouds and then calling themselves self-begotten is another story entirely. But that's what it is. So honestly, I guess the most we can say in regards to the topic of angels, because I don't really want to go too much into the Gnostic faith, because look, there's a reason that a lot of people don't really claim to be Gnostics, and I think you two can kind of see why after me explaining this. And again, the sad thing is I shorthanded both of this. Both of these books I really shorthanded so as not to be over 2 hours long, which I thought you'd both appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely
But
didn't go over. We didn't even meet the hour mark.
good. Well, no, that was my thing. I wanted to get through these pretty quickly because, again, this is the Gnostic, and we're looking at angels. the main thing to take away from this, besides the weird lion snake image thing, is that the angels aren't servants. They're beings of pure light and spirit who instead are meant to emanate and reflect um, the will of the divine spirit. Their whole thing is that they're not commanded. They are at times equal, except for the chaos angels who created the material world, and they're the ones who are treacherous or evil or think themselves God, and basically will corrupt mankind if you pray to them or follow them, even though at some point you already are of them and it doesn't matter anyway. Comments?
Weird.
Yeah, I'd go with that. What about Zed as the non-religious person? You want to become Gnostic?
No.
Yeah, so
I now know why
Yeah.
we got a lot of agnostic people.
yeah, tell me about it.
If I were taught this, I would want to rebel against everything I was taught.
Yeah, I know, which it does drive me nuts because you know, I will watch as you two know, I watch the History Channel a lot because the History Channel is interesting enough. Well, I watch the History Channel on YouTube because, you know, History Channel hasn't played real history for ages. Um, but I did notice when they would have they would talk a little bit about these religious texts, and like it actually bothers me now that they had experts, I'm using air quotations, come on and say, "Oh, these books were left out of the Bible, and we wonder why. What were they trying to hide? The secret knowledge that would help us." I'm like, "Honey, have you read these things? They're nonsense. That's why they were left out of the Bible. Is that they're clearly nonsensical fan fiction." It's like there's no secret. It's because it's absolute crap. I mean, for heaven's sake, it's no wonder that they left them out. It's like they took one look at this thing and said, nope. This would be like trying to compile Tolkien's works and finding the Mists of Avalon and saying, yes, that definitely belongs with it. No, they're two completely different things. Sorry, that's my little rant. Okay. Any thoughts like on this so far?
Not really.
Not a lot to say, right?
No, it's kind of just strange.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, let's take it down to a lighter note, switch slides, and hand it over to Zed. And because normally I try to give it a theme, but honestly, these things are so weird, I really didn't know what kind of theme to go with, because I really doubted that there was a Pokemon covered in blood. So I decided instead just to go with God-type Pokemon. So Zed, take it away, unless there actually was a Pokemon that was covered in blood. Oh, come on. There's not actually a Pokemon covered in blood.
No, there's not yet.
Thank you.
Well, when you made it easy, you said gods, so here's 4 gods.
Okay.
As in, you have the llama in the middle. That is just God, period.
The llama's god?
Yes,
Yes.
the one with the halo around it.
Yes, that is God.
The one with the halo around its stomach?
Yes. Alkia?
How is that God?
I don't know. But in the Pokemon world, that is God.
What, he created the world?
Yes, he created
Yes.
everything.
How?
I don't
How
know.
can you catch it?
Oh wait, how do you catch it, or how does?
Do you catch it, or like can it just?
Yeah, you can catch it. You can catch God. Yeah. I have several gods.
There's more than one.
Well, yeah, if you have multiple games, there's more than one.
Okay.
But he created the other 3 gods there, which are essentially the god of space, time, and antimatter.
Antimatter, yes.
Yeah.
Pokemon has a god of antimatter. Okay.
Yeah, who he then banished to his own realm, so essentially Hades.
Well, that fits with the theme. Nonsense for nonsense. Okay. Well, this is the one time I really can't say Pokemon is weird because we just went through a whole mess of weirdness.
Yes.
So it'd be kind of hypocritical for me to say that at this point. Ugh. All right. And with that, we are done with the Judeo-Christian section on angels. Hooray! And it only took 9 parts. Hooray?
Huh.
Hooray.
Yeah. So that means next time we'll be looking at angels and other religions. And we're about halfway done with angels. So that's good at least, right?
I'm still just thinking of like all of the stuff here of like, oh well, there's no real salvation. God just, Jesus just came down to earth to just punk us.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was the whole thing. Like even Judas, who understood him and helped him, Judas wasn't saved. They made that very clear. He's not one of the saved Seth people, and there's no way to become one. You either are one or you're not.
So Judas is still the villain of his own book.
No, he's considered the hero because he releases Jesus's divine spark.
Despite the fact that
him.
this still, will doom all of humanity to no salvation, with the exception of a select few.
Well, no, humanity's already doomed except for the salvation of the select few.
Yeah, I mean, all he does is help Jesus, but it doesn't help anyone else. So
no, there was no way to help them from the start. Yeah, you can see why this one as a religion didn't really pick up as well.
who would adopt this religion?
That's what I said.
Like, unless you from the family of Seth, you would not adopt this religion.
I would agree with that. That's what I said. I was like, who on earth would want to be part of this? This is depressing as shit.
I would love to see the pope, the bishop or pope of this religion go, we're all going to hell and I'm going with you.
I mean, yeah, essentially, because if you notice, they don't actually tell, we talked about the generation of Seth was created before Saklas and was in a different dimension or whatever. So how did the generation of Seth even get with the same realm of humans as Saklas? It doesn't say they intermingled. They were just there. So, yeah, there's a lot that doesn't make sense in the Gospel of Judas when you really start to think about it. Not even when you really start to think about it, when you start reading it, you realize a lot of it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't know anybody who would follow this because it is depressing as all get out. And like, Judas is maybe not the hero, he's just not the villain, I guess. Though, they kind of don't touch on the fact that he killed himself because I guess that would kind of look bad, maybe.
Well, they didn't record that because how would he have recorded it? He just killed himself.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, do you really want the book to end? And then I took a knife and I pointed it at my chest and I fell over and I don't remember much else. It's really cold and dark.
Well, to be fair, the book is kind of isn't written from a first person point of view. It's written from a third person point of view.
And then I watched Judas walk into the bedroom. He took a knife to his chest and then fell over. There was a lot of blood. I thought I really have a lot of mopping to do now.
Yeah.
But hey, at least he left me some silver coins.
Judas hanged himself.
Oh yeah, he did. That's it. Oh, in that case, how am I going to get him down now? Should I
Okay,
even
Shadow
bother?
Fox. I want to point out, not only did he hang himself, you do remember he threw the 30 pieces of silver and gave it back, right?
That deadbeat. He left a mess for me to clean up.
He
We
hanged
should have
himself
known how
on
that
a
was going to
tree.
go.
He hanged himself on a tree.
I hope he wasn't hoping for a casket funeral because I'm not gonna pay for it.
No, he rotted on a tree.
Well, now we know why.
I like that it's him throwing the money that pisses you off the most.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
It's like, yeah, he betrayed the Son of God, our Savior, but the real crime is he threw the money away. The money he got for that in the first place, he threw it back.
What was it? 7 coins of silver or something?
30 pieces of silver.
30 pieces of silver. I would probably been that one guy running back into the church grabbing the 30 pieces of silver. Hey, he's giving out free stuff here. He's making it rain.
He threw them at the Pharisees. The Pharisees were already doing that.
Oh.
They picked up that money immediately. Hence the corruption of the Pharisees that Jesus was talking about. Like,
Okay, now I know how the book of Judas end. And then
God.
he said, "Let me borrow your rope, and let me borrow your stepladder." I said, "Okay, you just got paid a lot of money, right, Judas? You'll pay me back, right? You'll return it back to me, right, Judas?" I never got any money back. I never got my ladder back. I don't know what he did with my rope.
Really? You need an ending to this. What about the Book of the Egyptians?
I think that's false advertisement. Not
How is-
not a
Well,
single
yeah, it's
Egyptian in it.
I said it had nothing to do with the Egyptians.
No Pharaoh, no Osiris, no Set.
It had Seth.
No, that's the guy H at the end. That's too many letters.
Technically, there was an Egyptian god named Seth.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Thank you. But
No
I
mummies.
said I said at the start that it had nothing to do with the Egyptians.
No
It's a
Imhotep.
metaphor. It's a metaphor for being able to gain knowledge to be released from entrapment.
Oh wow, let me write a self-help book. It's a metaphor for just giving me money.
Okay, literally money is evil to the Gnostics. Anything
And now we know
material-
why their religion isn't catching on.
Okay, yes, anything matter related, anything made of matter is evil. Only the spirit matters. And you gain knowledge to reawaken the spirit. Basically, they believe that all of us have a divine spark in us, but we've all forgotten the ancient knowledge. And by gaining more knowledge, we don't learn, but remember what we'd forgotten, and that leads us to our true divine self.
So we're Transformers?
Spiritually speaking, yes.
So spiritually speaking, if my spirit feel like a truck, once I tap into my divine spark,
It only
I can
works with
turn it.
spirit.
My
It doesn't
spirit
work-
can turn into a truck.
No, you're only allowed to transform into a spiritual being of the divine spirit.
Which take the form as a truck.
No, it doesn't take any form. It's a spirit.
So it's shapeless.
Yes.
So it can become any shape because it's shapeless.
No, because it exists as no shape. Because it exists as no
You're going to lose
shape.
this argument every time. I hope you know this.
Look, I'm trying to help Gnostic out. If you advertise your religion as you are optimist, you're going to have so many people joining your religion.
Okay, first of all, I don't want that. It's bad enough we were talking about these blasphemous articles. But no, you don't even transform. You remember how to be what you originally were, of a divine spark, of a piece of the divine Holy Spirit.
Like the Allspark.
Yeah, kind of.
You remember to transform yourself into a higher plane of existence.
Well, technically, a transformation is when you transformed into the lower plane of existence and you need to return to the higher plane of existence.
But there's a transformation that gotta take place.
Well, yeah, but it's not a cool transformation. It's all
spark.
spiritual. Yes, we all have a divine spark within us that we have to reawaken through knowledge.
So, again, I'm just saying my spirit may take the form of a truck
It's not going to take the form of a truck.
when I get the Allspark. We got Transformers. Do they have Decepticon in this religion? I'm just wondering.
Okay, if we're going with your metaphor, the Decepticons would be Sockless and the other non.
So would the
divine
Decepticon
Oh,
and the
God.
Seth family is the Autobots.
Technically, yes.
So will I Starscream right here? I'm like a Starscream.
Well, you don't know which part you're part of. You could be the generation of Seth.
I don't think my luck that's good.
Well, no, because the generation of Seth is the actual divine thing, but the others are beings. They didn't create like they did in the Gospel of Judas. In this one, they're deceivers who grant you away from the divine spark that you are and cloud it and make you forget the divinity that you're a part of. So the Decepticons are trying to turn you into a Decepticon. Follow your metaphor.
The more we talk about this also sounds like Scientology. This sounds like the basis of Scientology here.
It really does. Like, I'm not going to lie. While I was going through all this, I'm like, this. I almost thought about putting on slides. Gnostics really believe this, like South Park did with Scientology.
Because the more you kept talking about the spirit and reawakening past self, I'm like, this sounds like science. Isn't like that the whole basis of Scientology is, humanity's soul is essentially the extraterrestrial alien or something like that that possessed humanity because of an evil space tyrant that took over everything or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this might very well be the groundworks for Scientology. Just Scientology has a sci-fi spin to it. But yeah, no, when I was reading, I was like, this is very similar to all of that. I legit thought about putting on each slide, this is what Gnostics believe, like the South Park thing did with the Scientology stuff.
Again, I don't know that many. Like with Scientology, it at least got a huge following. Gnostics, I don't know that many Gnostic like churches are following really.
Gnostic is mostly died out. There are some, but most of them have forgotten just how nonsensical it is because with more and more knowledge, people are kind of going, this is kind of weird and strange.
Because I know there are Gnostic Christians and stuff like that, but they definitely don't believe this. They just believe that the material doesn't matter and they need to focus only on the spiritual aspect of the Bible.
Yes.
But they definitely don't, believe in like the book of Judas, the Gospel of Judas, or any of this stuff. If anything, this goes against what most modern Gnostics, I think, believe, honestly.
Yeah, what you have to remember is the majority of Gnostics have never actually read any of the Gnostic Gospels.
Because they all were banned, essentially.
Well, no, because if you ever tried to read these things, like you guys were rolling your eyes when I was just going through a short summary of this crap. Like, remember, I shortened these things a lot to like make them bearable. Like, try actually reading the Gospel of Judas sometime.
No, thank you.
Exactly. Or the Gospel of the Egyptians. Try reading it like straight off without me like having to short term and kind of like sum it up in a way that's partially understandable. Because that was hard. Like that's the thing is that because of this, a lot of the Gnostics, you can kind of derive what you want from it as long as you take the key thing of, matter and material bad, focus on the spirit. And then you can basically do whatever the hell you want. And that's the That's the thing of the Gnostics is that it's for those who do like it, it's because there's not really a set rule. You're doing whatever is spiritually good, but saying spiritually good, okay, that's the self-help book problem. It's like follow your bliss. Well, okay, if you're a murderer, I don't think it's very good that you follow your bliss. There are certain things where you probably shouldn't follow your bliss. And
I don't
it
know. It
goes
seemed to work out for Dexter.
did it?
Yeah, sometimes.
Like, how many people did he lose?
Well, yeah, that was a given. He surrounded himself with cops who chase after murderers. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, plus that, what's happened to his son?
I don't know. After the last season, his son seems fine.
Yeah, except he's soaked in blood.
Eh.
So what I'm getting here is Dexter's son is Nebra.
Oh no.
Shit. That actually works. I didn't even...
Defiled.
could've
You
put it-
say he's soaked in blood. Some would even say defiled in blood.
Oh no.
I should have put a picture of Dexter on this. Dang, I didn't even think of that. Okay, my defense, I got lost in the nonsense, okay? Ugh. Like, do you know how hard it was to try to make sense of all this? And to
Yeah.
put it in a way that, like, didn't drag on for ages? Like, I skipped a lot of the Judas and Jesus talking and everything, and their interaction with the disciples and their jealousy to kind of, like, shorthand this a bit. Because, I thought, because, we're focusing on angels more than the interactions of humans. But, again, it's very clear why this was not put in the Bible. It's because it's utter nonsense. I will admit the Book of the Egyptians is quoted more than the Gospel of Judas because it mentions a divine feminine or a divine mother figure.
Yeah, I
And
was thinking that.
yeah, that pisses off a lot of women to say that, oh, the patriarchy was created to not give women their proper points. Like, no, honey, it's because this is nonsense. It has nothing to do with any patriarchy. Like, this is literally nonsense. Like, I'm sorry, but like, there is no divine feminine. There's not really even a divine masculine. It's just that God happens to be of a masculine sense, but he doesn't actually have a gender. God is referred to as he. But, like, in fact, I argue that where the divine goddess came from is actually a couple of different misinterpretations. I might do a video on the origins of the divine goddess, which will probably, which I think I might post on a bunch of feminist pages just for the fun of it. But we might do that in the future, but not for a while because it's a mildly fascinating history. But no,
So I
it's
gotta
not
get my
because...
most sexist jokes ready.
Yeah, I'll let you know to get your sexist jokes ready.
Okay, there's okay, back to the kitchen. Why haven't you gotta make me a sandwich joke somewhere in there.
Okay,
You see what you've done?
You know what the sad part is? This reminds me of the one sexist joke that I have actually used when I was arguing with this really obnoxious woman, which almost caused her to slap me.
Why only almost?
She missed.
Oh.
Her arms weren't as long as she thought they were. I forget what we were arguing about, but the end line was, again, I said this deliberately to piss her off, so I agree it is sexist. It was meant to be, because I was trying to piss her off. In my defense, she was saying sexist things too, so she started it. But my comment was basically in the end going, yeah, honey, I would say get back in the kitchen, but as it turns out, men have proven better at that too. She did not like that. But Yeah, anyway, so we might do a video on that. But yeah, so that's the Gnostic faith in a nutshell. I don't know why people follow it. I guess, well, to be fair, I don't understand why people like self-help books either, because, like, in my opinion, most of them are just nonsense anyway. But that's what it is. So, spiritual self-help. Hooray. Any final thoughts?
Not really.
Yeah. Well, okay. And well done. And for those of you listening, I hope you enjoyed it. And next time we cover angels, we'll be looking at non-Judeo-Christian angels. I think we'll be starting with the Islamic religion. But next time we do one of these videos, I'm actually going to have a special surprise for my co-hosts. So until then, hope you
You're
join us
bringing
again.
an angel guest host on the podcast.
The surprise will have nothing to do with angels.
I got a wink, wink, got it. Don't want to.
Oh, with that, I'm your host, Archimage, along with my co-host,
Shadow or Fox.
Unsaid.
and we'll see you next time.
See ya.